Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. The younger you are, the more important routine is. When I pick up Vyasa from daycare, I leave with Shuka at 4 and we pick up Vyasa at 4:30. And our routine is to drive by the Niagara Falls, look at the rainbows, and then find a construction site. And these boys get out and they use their toy construction vehicles while we watch real construction vehicles. One area that we have tended to go to, recently a construction worker asked Vyasa if he wanted to go in the excavator. And Vyasa likes excavators a lot. And when this worker asked, he became very shy, afraid. He was in between my legs. And finally, when I carried him, we went into that excavator. You're all thinking, why do you tell us your family stories during Meaningful Mornings? We wake up so early, we're here to study. The connection is, just like Vyasa likes excavators, but is afraid of going closer, we all like the idea of being peaceful. But we are afraid of investing the efforts that are needed to be in peace. Good connection? And this is why a community is fundamental to support each other, to invest in these efforts. Verses 37 and 38 are the completion of Sankhya Yoga, or commonly known as Jnana Yoga. In 37, know your responsibility. In 38, how should you be in your responsibility? Deep. What's happening to the body, mind, and intellect will keep on changing. Be deeper than this. In verses 39 to 41, what Sri Krishna starts to share is Karma Yoga or Karma Yajna. Karma means action. The yoga or yajna part, the right actions or being meaningful. The right attitude or being cheerful. If what you're doing is not meaningful and how you're doing it is not cheerful, then that is not Karma Yoga. In verse 39, Sri Krishna shares, Karma Yoga will lead one to feeling complete. In verse 40, Karma Yoga will lead one to feeling courageous. In verse 41, so concentrate on your karma so it can be infused with yoga or yajna. In verses 42 to 44, Sri Krishna introduces a comparison of those who do not live with this intention. Our Veda is the documentation of rishis on how to live best in the world and beyond the world. The word rishi means seer, one who can see what we can't, one who can see the full picture. The Veda is generally divided into 4 bhagas or portions. They are the mantra portion, also known as the samhita. Next is the brahmana portion, also known as Brahmana. The third is the Upasana portion, also known as Aranyaka. And the fourth portion is Upanishad, also known as Vedanta. The first portion engages your speech. The second, your speech and your body. The third, your speech, body, and mind. And the fourth engages your speech, body, mind, but the focus is the intellect. Why the intellect? Because that's where the ego lives. The first expression of the ego is in the first equipment it can access, which is the intellect. If you're engaged in a science that does not engage the intellect to become humble, then that's not Upanishad or Vedanta. A more simplified understanding of the Veda is divided into the Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. Kanda, just like Canto or Skanda, which we've used in our devotional courses. Karma means to act, and Jnana means to unite. And how do we unite with joy? You just have to know it. You have to know who you are. I've shared repeatedly, only when you know can you benefit. One more way of understanding the Veda, because the present verse and some more verses will reference this. The earlier part of the Veda is known as Purva Mimamsa. Mimamsa means analysis. It is the early analysis, almost like the beginning portion of a marriage. It tends to focus on being fun. And it's fun later too, but the focus tends to be fun. And the later part of the Veda is known as the Uttara Mimamsa, which is the further analysis, the more mature analysis. And coming back to the marriage example, as you go deeper into a marriage, the focus shifts from fun only to fun in the fundamentals, correct? Uttara also means questioning. One starts to question what they've been doing their whole life, what they do every day. And here is where I've been hammering out our relationship with rituals. Unless you know the spirit of a ritual, as in, unless there's an intention to evolve, then that ritual is not karma yoga, which means that ritual is not going to lead you to know who you are. You're doing, but there's no significant utility to doing. And in Swami Chinmayananda's commentary, he has shared, those who are distracted, they get distracted in the functional. Karma Kanda, Purva Mimamsa, rituals without understanding. They're too busy to evolve. That is an awful way to live, is to be busy and certainly to be too busy. In Meaningful Mornings, we're training ourselves to be engaged, not busy. And the word Sri Krishna uses, kama atmanaha. Kama atmanaha. Which means one's sense of being is full of desire. Doing. We continue to verse 44. Bhogeshwarya prasaktanam taya pahrita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhihi samadhau na vidhiyate. Bhoga, pleasure. Aishwarya, position. Prasaktanam, one who is addicted to pleasure. One who is attached to position. Taya, because of this, apahrita chetasam, their minds are drawn away, or their minds are distracted by that which is lesser. The Karma Kanda, the Purva Mimamsa. There is a focus on prosperity instead of peace. In summary, this first line, one who is not living by pratyahara. I've shared with all of you many months ago, pratyahara is to bring balance to the mind. And how this is related in the next line, vyavasayatmika buddhi, which means the ability to focus. Samadhau na vidhiyate, they are not able to focus and they're not able to contemplate. One who's addicted, one who's attached, one who has no balance of mind can never engage in dharana. That is to focus. Can never engage in dhyana. That is to contemplate. And the implication of this, they can never be independently joyous. Reminding all of you, Shri Krishna is a master teacher. He keeps sharing the benefits first and then goes into the costs. Teaches out of love first, then out of fear. I hope with these three verses that you're coming to understand and appreciate why we studied the yogas before we studied Bhagavad Gita. Why we went through Jivan Sutrani before we're trying to live Bhagavad Gita. Because that much preparation is needed. In the next verse, this is one of the best verses in the entire Bhagavad Gita. This has been burned into my head and heart. I'm trying with my hands. We'll explore that tomorrow, and a whole series of most lovely verses on how to practice in more detail, leading up to how you will live like when you are enlightened. The Sthita Prajna Lakshanas are coming this month too. It's like the best movie to be released later this month. From inspiration to application, your recent applications were to not engage in rituals. Why I asked you to do this is to challenge you to establish your intention before you engage in a ritual. And if you go to our website, many seekers wrote about that this challenge helped them to infuse more meaning and cheer into their rituals. Another application was, what has satsanga done for you? And here's the context. On June 16th, 2016, Pujya Guruji Swami Tejomayananda began his last North American tour, and he started in Niagara Falls. And during this time, my parents were in Bharat studying in the Vedanta course. So Sheila and I got to serve him, host him directly and independently, as in pick him up from the airport. He was sitting beside me in our Civic looking at my Pearl Jam CDs. So he had come into our home on June 16th, 2016. It is one of the most precious memories I have ever had or will have. And exactly 1 year later, June 16th, 2017, Vyasa came home, as in our son Vyasa. He was born on the 15th, but he came home on the 16th. And my implication here is, this is what Satsanga has done for me and us. It is only the grace of such a presence that you get prosperity also, if I can consider our older son as prosperity. Your application for this morning, what has Satsanga done to you? Yesterday was for you. In my case, Vyasa. Now I'm asking, what has it done to you? Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.